What makes a great foldable phone? Is it the camera specs, the screen specs, the build quality? This phone has everything going for it, but does that make it the best foldable phone? Well, the essence of these large foldables is to have the best of everything. The best cameras, the best specs, the best and largest screens, and all this would be accompanied by the highest price. The one thing that they aren't afraid to go big on. I feel like OnePlus has nudged the needle in the right direction, toward improving some of the more lackluster specs. It even brought a unique way of multitasking to the industry, showing that innovation is not dead. So with this multitasking, which OnePlus is calling the open canvas, you're able to open multiple apps, starting with split screen, kind of how you would on the Z Flip series, or even the Pixel Fold series. But then you're able to expand the app to its full size, or at least full aspect ratio, while still maintaining a split screen view. So it does this by sliding over the app, kind of over the edge of the screen. And whenever you tap on the app, it becomes the active app and slides into the screen while still showing a little edge of the other app that is being split screened. And this provides just a more full experience with the app when you want it or need it. But then you could also go back to the shrunken down version of the apps if you just want them on the same screen. Plus, it lets you zoom out to see the apps that are open, and you could even work on it in that method with the zoomed out version, which all the apps are a bit smaller, or you can zoom in into the app that you want to use. So it's very innovative and very fun to use. This is a feat that not even Samsung has been able to pull off. Samsung still requires shrunken down or narrowed down versions of the apps when multitasking, and Pixel is not really in the conversation. So why do I believe that the OnePlus Open has paved the way for future foldables? Well, first, it has better specs than their standard style flagship. It has better specs than the other two available foldables, and the specs actually compete with the true flagships of Samsung and Google. I would consider this a true flagship camera array. The picture results are very nice, and the video results are competitive with Google. I think software and post-processing is where Google and Samsung have the edge. On a side note, I thought the 3x lens was going to be a bit gimmicky, but man was I wrong. This lens produces some impressive results, even when reaching well into the digital zoom range. The camera app is simple, and like any other, there are modes and settings that I enjoy, but there are also some that other phones have that are missing from this one. We are likely never going to have a single camera app with all the modes and features in one, so no point in dwelling on that. My favorite modes on this camera are the X-Pan, Movie, and Portrait, and here's why. The X-Pan provides a dramatic and unique looking photo. I'm sure it can be recreated by cropping a standard photo, but having that view while setting up the shot helps me picture how the final product will look. The Movie mode is basically the pro video mode on the phone. However, it does have a more professional feel to it and some nice manual controls. And with portrait mode, it works similarly to how other portrait modes work, and others are even more accurate when separating the subject from the background. But the blur that is added to the portrait mode on this phone feels closer to what is seen on a true DSLR. And here are a few seconds of videos and pictures I recorded with the phone. These large sensors obviously need additional space, which is not exactly available on foldable phones, so they resorted to a large camera mount. But I'm totally okay with it, and I don't consider it an eyesore. Plus, I like to use it as a finger stop. Next is the fast charging. This one has perplexed me for some time. Based on what I know about batteries and charging, I feel like the Z Fold should have been charging at or above 50 watts for some time now. I'm happy OnePlus was able to add fast charging and a larger battery in a slimmer design. This will be a great takeaway for both Samsung and Google. Third is that they lowered the price of entry. It's still not where I think these phones need to be, but bringing the price down a couple of $100s with fairly minimal cutbacks puts some pressure on the competition. It might seem like a $100 difference, but when you price out the Pixel and Z Fold, they are closer to $1,900 with matching specs. Plus, they don't reach 16GB of RAM. Both inner and outer screens are amazing on this phone. The shallow crease provides the cleanest picture of any large foldable I've used, and the brightness provides a clear picture regardless of where you are. One thing I have noted is that these nit ratings don't seem to be equal. I feel like Samsung's 1750 nits provides a similar brightness to the 2800 nits on the OnePlus Open. But the main takeaway is that the screen is bright. Now getting back to these cutbacks, the main one that I hear mentioned, and it's a dumb one on OnePlus's part, is the lack of wireless charging. This is a flagship feature that's made for convenience, but it's an expected feature for any phone over $1,000 and even under at this point. It's no surprise that OnePlus is catching some flack for this one. I myself love wireless charging. Just putting the phone on a stand and letting it charge overnight is very convenient, but it's not hard to get by without it. The second notable cutback is the water resistance rating. This one might be harder to obtain, and I'm okay with the IPX4 rating. This should be okay in the majority of situations. Being that I've spent plenty of time near water, I would appreciate the IPX8 rating, but I can't remember the last time one of my phones was submerged in water where I actually needed the IPX8 rating. Given all these points, the OnePlus Open seems like it can possibly be the best foldable in the US market. It has quickly become one of my favorites. But only time will tell if the phone stays at the top of my list. OnePlus will need to fix some of their bugs and crashes, and their product needs to hold up to daily use. My biggest worry is that the phone will not outlast the test of time. 2 big YouTubers have already found dead pixels on their folding screen, which is not something that I have seen with the other 2 foldables. If this becomes a widespread issue, then the OnePlus Open will basically be throwing in the towel for the running of the best foldable. Unfortunately, it's hard to recommend this phone to someone who doesn't have either multiple phones or disposable income, solely because I have seen 2 early failures on YouTube. Although the saving grace here is that the outer screen is going to work just fine. However, for anyone who does intend on buying the phone, I do believe it will be a great experience. I would appreciate you hitting the like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.